Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video, we're hopping back into the magnetic forest, the kid forest, utilizing a mono shooter, in inverted commas, team, showcasing the new FireTank Pirates as a friend captain. So, I did forget to actually start the recording at the start of the forest. I did start it at the Capone stage, funny enough. So, this particular team that you do see on screen is the team that I used with a friend Capone Pirates. Now, some changes to the team before we hop in, to give you guys a little bit of variation and a little bit of variety, is Magellan is completely replaceable on this particular team. With the run, I'll explain when we get to that particular stage, but with the run, you didn't actually need Magellan at all. I did want to use him for the Big Mom stage, so I get that 2.5 times attack boost and the color affinity, but you could easily just use, like, the, what's it called? The FireTank Pirates special, and you should be hunky-dory, as this particular stage, like, we didn't really have too much color affinity anyway, but if you do have Magellan, he does work quite nicely on this team. You can pretty much just replace him with any other color affinity booster that is a shooter, or if you do have Magellan, I would highly recommend taking off that Hannibal support, as it is not essential whatsoever. With Shanks Crew being on the team, Shanks Crew is a shooter when they are in their quick form, so they are technically a shooter character, so they do get boosted under Ace and Capone Pirates, or the FireTank Pirates, when they are in that particular form. And the beautiful thing about using Shanks Crew is we can actually use the Markano support. Now, no one has an excuse anymore. Everyone should have this Markano support. It is one of the best supports in the game, and if you have Shanks Crew, it is one of the most deadliest combos. The rest of the team consists of Verse Ace as our captain. The support of Mr. 5 really isn't that essential. It's just nice to have. With, well, it's not essential at all, actually. All it does is lock our orbs to this particular fight, so you can easily replace that support. With Usohachi, I do have the support of the treasure map Vivi. I don't know how essential that is. We'll see how we go when we get to that particular stage. And then Montador's here just with a stat booster. The shit we're using is the Liberal Hind. It's very, very good because Ace is a free spirit. So that's the team. Those are the supports. Let's dive in. Alright, so as I mentioned, we're over here on stage number 12, I'm pretty sure it is, and we come up against the FireTank Pirates themselves, funny enough. Now, as you can see, we do have the FireTank Pirates as our friend captain, and on this particular stage, we are just going to switch with our Shanks Crew to give ourselves the 1.5 times attack boost, and then use their special for a 3.5 times chain lock. Now, on this stage, they have 10 turns of damage reduction and 10 turns of threshold. It does look a little bit scary, but it's really not that bad. If you don't take out Vito or Grotty after the second turn, they're actually going to poison you, and if you don't take out Capone in the front, he actually starts blowing away your characters. So, with using the FireTank Pirates, you can actually leave Capone alive and actually just don't worry about the blowaway effect, as the FireTank Pirates as captains actually make you immune to that. Once we move on to the next stage, we come up against Rogue. Now, against Rogue, he puts up 5 turns of defense up, and he is a dex unit that is immune to defense down and delay. Now, for this particular stage, I actually used the special of Montador. Totally forgot that Montador only removes 4 turns of defense up, not 5. So, that was a bit of a yikes on this particular stage. Lucky for me, though, because our captain is a strength unit, I could actually get the 2 turns of color affinity. And that's a big reason why I bought Montador, mainly for his color affinity and that defense down, like the defense up removal. So what we're going to do on this particular stage, we're just going to use the versatility of our Ace. That way we can actually just get that burn mechanic off, and we're actually just going to pass a turn here. Now, your Rogue's actually going to hit us pretty hard. He puts up attack up before he attacks, and he does something like 24k. But with the burn mechanic of Ace, we are going to do a little bit of damage, and then once that 1 turn of defense up goes away, we can take him out on the next stage, as we still do have color affinity, which is really, really nice. You can use the switchability of the FireTank Pirates to give you healing, as well as damage reduction as well, so don't really stress too much. Once we move on to the next stage, we come up against 2 of Kid's lackeys. I think one of their names is Flame, and I have no idea what the guy with the pitchfork's name. They're actually going to give us 4 turns of special blinds, as well as special reverse. Now, the beautiful thing about using Ace as our captain is we can actually get around that special reverse. We can switch with our FireTank Pirates, and that way we can get some damage reduction and some healing. Now, this stage is really, like, it's normally quite annoying because they have a strength barrier and an int barrier, but because we're rocking mono shooters, or all shooters, we have a lot of barrier pen, which works out really, really nicely. Now, you really want to take out the strength guy, as he's actually going to give you burn, and then he turns all colored orbs into unfavorable, and he just becomes really, really annoying. But with the int guy, he actually just rolls your specials back, and as I mentioned, utilizing Ace as our captain makes us immune to that. What we actually want to do on this particular stage is stall out the special blind, but more importantly, start building up the Ace verse ability once again. Before he hits the 3rd turn, though, he does roll your specials all the way back to the start, So you just sort of want to kill him before that actually happens. And the easiest way to know when that's coming is it'll be on the last turn of his barrier. So now he's got one turn of his barrier. We want to take him out with Barrier Pen, and we can move on to the next stage against Killer. Now against Killer, this stage is normally very, very annoying. And with this particular team, there is 2 ways to go about it. He only lets us use 1 special, and he has 5 turns of damage reduction. What you can do is you can use the Usohachi special like I'm doing right here. Usohachi is going to get that color affinity, which as you can see is not essential at all, as we don't even have any free spirits that have color affinity on this particular team. So this particular team, this is the first time I actually ran this, and it actually managed to work really, really well. I was actually really, really impressed with this particular team. Ace just honestly makes this forest really, really easy. The other way that you can actually go about taking this particular stage down is you can actually stay in the Shanks variation of Shanks Crew. Now, because Shanks isn't getting buffed by neither the FireTank Pirates or Ace, you only do 5 damage, which means that counter mechanic that Killer has that normally does a lot of damage will only do about 46 damage, and you can just easily stall out the damage reduction. Once the damage reduction's gone and the only 1 special is gone, you can just pop one of your specials and just easily take him out and move him on to the next stage against Big Mom. Now against Big Mom, this is where things get a little bit shaky. Big Mom is going to bind 2 of your random crew members for 5 or 8 turns, and then it'll go down to 5 with sockets. Now, you just need to make sure that that character is not Magellan. If you guys don't have Magellan, as I mentioned, just replace him with any other bind remover, preferably someone that can do color affinity as well, but you just really want to replace him with anyone that can remove 5 turns of bind. I think I forgot to mention that at the start of the, at the start of the team. So make sure you have someone that can remove bind in his place if you are missing something like that. We're going to use his double special activation to give us the 2.5 times attack boost. We have a conditional boost against poison, as he poisons as well, and then we can use the versatility of Ace to rotate all of those block orbs into matching. Now this is what I was saying about the support of Hannibal. You don't need it because you would have the 2 times conditional boost against the burn if you were using Ace instead. So it is what it is. And if you don't have Magellan, you can easily just use the FireTank Pirates there. That way you can actually just get a full board of orbs, lock those orbs, and get a 2.5 times attack boost. On the next stage, we are going to come up against Basil Hawkins, Page 1, and X-Drake. They have 1 turn of defense up, and they don't let you use an attack boost. So this is where we're going to switch with our Shanks crew to give ourselves the 1.5 times attack. They normally give us remove sound effects, but thanks to Markano, we can get around that. We can use our Ace special, and because Ace has a strength orb, he's going to give us the chain lock as well. Finally, Montador is going to remove the defense up and give us color affinity, and this stage is going to absolutely melt. What we are going to do, though, is we're actually going to keep Page 1 alive. Now, normally, Page 1 will actually start blowing away units. He blows away 1 unit on the first turn, 2 on the second, and then 3 units every turn after that. But thanks to the FireTank Pirates as our captain, we are actually immune to blow away. So we can actually just hang out on this particular stage for as long as we like, because we have a lot of damage reduction with the switch ability of the FireTank Pirates, with their captain ability, and with their switch ability giving us lots of healing. We can actually just take advantage of that as well. Once all our debuff goes away, we can start building up the Ace verse meter again, and it actually just works really, really nicely, as we can actually just sort of hang here for as long as we actually need to. You don't need to hang here too long. Ideally, you just want to sort of chill until you get your Usohachi special back, so that way you can actually use it on the next turn to remove the defense, the damage reduction, and the threshold. It doesn't really help too much because we don't really have a way of getting around the despair, but what I would highly recommend doing is actually utilizing the support of Whitebeard on verse Ace. If you guys have the support of Whitebeard on verse Ace, you can actually do this way cleaner. You will actually need to hang around on this particular stage for a little bit longer, but as you can see, like, Page 1's just doing absolutely no damage. He does like 6k damage. We heal back like 2,200 with our switch ability. We get 2,000 end of turn healing, and when we are in the what's her name? The Chiffon version, we actually get 3k healing back as well. So Page 1 actually physically cannot do any damage to us. As you can see, we're just healing back all of the damage that we actually have. So it actually works really, really nicely. And for this particular team, I was actually super impressed with this team. But like I said, Ace makes this forest so damn easy. He is the GOAT for this particular forest. And look, if you have Ace, you're probably better off just bringing a second Ace. But it was a lot of fun running a complete shooter team with the FireTank Pirates anyway. Now that we've taken out Page 1, we are going to move on to the next stage against King. Now, King gives us 3 turns of Despair. He puts up 3 turns of damage reduction, and he has 3 turns of Threshold. So this is where the support of Whitebeard would be absolutely amazing, because we can just remove that 3 turns of Despair, and then with Usohachi, we can remove the 3 turns of Threshold, as well as damage reduction. That way we don't lose any HP as well, and we keep all the damage reduction that the Capone Pirates can provide. Now, I forgot to switch with the Capone Pirates there, or the FireTank Pirates. Now, you really want to, so that way you actually get the damage reduction. It's a bit of a blunder on my behalf. Now, every turn, King is going to put up a barrier. He starts as a 1 orb quick barrier. And then I think he moves to Dex. No, he goes quick, int, Dex, strength, Psi. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Yeah, so that's how it goes. And for this barrier, it's basically you just have to hit him with one orb and you'll break that. But again, because we are running pretty much a mono shooter team, as long as you have all your characters max barrier pen, you are going to be breaking through those barriers with at least the FireTank Pirates and our boy Ace. So you can actually still do a lot of damage with this particular team without Whitebeard. As you can see, it actually works quite well. But if you have Whitebeard, you can actually just do this way easier, as you'll be able to output a lot of damage on the very first turn when King actually doesn't have a barrier. Once he gets to his Psi barrier, you do need to be careful though, because he will basically just like end your run. I think he does like a full blow away, so you might actually be able to like survive it with the fire tanks. He either does like a full blow away or he actually just like kills you. But once we do remove the despair, we are going to use the versatility of our Ace once again. That's going to give us that conditional boost and that burn mechanic towards King, and it's just going to give us enough damage to actually take him out. The downside is once we hit this strength orb stage, it makes it a little bit tricky, because when we use the switchability of our Shanks crew, we're actually going to give our team a full board, or our strength units, all strength orbs, which is going to really hinder their damage. We still do have the 2x conditional boost. We still do have the 1.5 times attack. And because of that, we can actually take him out easy peasy, because we have a matching orb on our FireTank Pirates. So as you can see, we can output a lot of damage still. And this team just sort of, it just moves along so nicely. And it just hums along like it's like absolutely nothing. And I actually really enjoyed this team. Once we hit the next stage, we come up against Kaido. Now on the first turn against Kaido, he is going to be immune to Psi damage. Now ideally, you want to switch into the Dex variation of the FireTank's Pirates. Now, if you did the switches correctly, remember I actually forgot to switch one turn, you will actually switch into the Dex variety. But on the second turn, Kaido actually gives us a burn. Now, that burn is really, really hefty. It's a massive, massive burn. And if you get hit by that, it pretty much kills you. I think it's like a 25k burn. And Kaido only lets you use 2 specials for 10 turns. So what we're going to do here on the very first turn, we are going to switch with our Shanks crew to give ourselves an attack buff. And we are just going to try and do as much damage as physically possible. Now, you can tell that it's my first run, as I'm actually really stopping and thinking about what I need to do here. We are going to use the Shanks crew special. That way we get a 3 turns of a 3.5 times chain lock, as we are going to get a chain lock with Ace on the final turn. Anyway, we don't really need Shanks crew's chain lock here, and we are going to need to take 3 turns to take Kaido out anyway. Remember, you aren't doing any damage with your Shanks crew as well as your Psi units on the very first turn. So make sure to hit with them first, and then finish it off with the characters that have the matching orbs, namely the characters that are around the Shanks crew units. With pinch healing, as well as the switchability of the Capone Pirates and the Liberal Hind, we can actually get a lot of healing here as well. We want to switch with the FireTank Pirates every turn to give damage reduction. But on the second turn, as I mentioned, Kaido is actually going to put up a burn. Now, we did manage to pick up a meat orb there. I don't know how clutch that is actually going to be. I actually didn't notice it while I was doing the run, but now I'm actually noticing it. So we should be on like 4,400 here. We should be on like 6,600. So we should still be fine no matter what. Unfortunately, we are going to lose our pinch healing effectiveness, as we can't hit perfects here. But once the burn goes down to 3 turns, we can actually... Oh, what the hell happened here? Oh, I don't know what happened there. But once the burn goes down to 3 turns, we can actually remove it with the Magellan special. Magellan's going to remove that burn for us, which is really, really handy. But if you need to, you can easily use the Montador special here. Now, so as I was saying at the beginning, you really don't need Magellan. You just need to replace him with any other bind remover. And if you actually do replace him, you can easily use the Montador special to remove the burn there, as well as give us color affinity. Now, I think we would have survived there even with that meat orb. But as I mentioned, if you have the Whitebeard support, you would have never been down that low HP anyway. Once we hit the final stage, we come up against our boy Kid. Now, Kid is immune to defense down and delay. He gives us a full board of block orbs, and he makes us immune. Well, he reduces our healing drastically. We're going to rotate those block orbs into matching with the versatility of Ace, give ourselves a strength orb on our captain. We can then use the Ace special for an orb boost and a chain lock, and then we're going to finish it off with the FireTank Pirate special. The FireTank Pirates is going to give us a full board of orbs and give us that orb lock mechanic. And they're also going to give us a 2.5 times attack boost to our shooters and driven characters. Now, because we are running a full shooter team, that is going to work really, really nicely. 2.5 times attack, 2.5 times orb, 2 times conditional boost, and a 2.25 times chain lock going upwards. We're going to switch with our Shanks crew finally, so that way we have a full shooter team. And with that, Bob's your uncle. See you later, Kid. You are absolutely going to die. So shooters are back! Woo! Go Shooters. But that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit the big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later!